If you grew up in a two-parent household in which one of your parents was really emotionally immature, chances are your other parent was also emotionally immature. Now I know it's easiest to say if you had a really unhinged parent that they were the problem, and then you had another parent you could kind of go to for support or advice, or to say, gee, gosh, what has the other parent gone and done this time? But the reality is that if the less unhinged parent wasn't making structural changes in the home to ensure that the harms committed by the unhinged parent ceased to happen, the safer parent actually wasn't really keeping you safe. The safer parent probably was going through their own traumas or had their own unhealed childhood traumas that made it difficult for them to really stand up. And so they had like this way of like appeasing and like going around the corners and trying to get things done, even though the unhinged parent could be unhinged at any moment. I used to write in my journal that my dad was an emotional adolescent when I was a kid. I mean, because we would get in these arguments sometimes, and I'd have this emotional sense that the person I was arguing with was like younger than me in terms of how they were reasoning the situation, even though I am my father's child. And I didn't read Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents till I was in my 40s. And when I read the book, I was like, this is it. This is it. Something I read in one of my old journal entries from when I was a teenager was, it was a few days after I had been given an award at like an achievement organization. And so at the awards ceremony, the announcer had read like a description of me. And in the description, it said something about me wanting to pursue becoming a psychoanalyst and a few other things. But what stuck in my dad's mind was psychoanalyst. So what happened was that a few days after the awards ceremony, I had like a part-time job after school at Sears, and he picks me up, and then we passed by Borders because I needed to buy the autobiography of W.E.B. Du Bois for school. And so I had some cash in my pocket to get the book. But as we were driving over to Borders, my dad got in this huge argument with me because he said, how come I heard a word I haven't heard before? I haven't heard you tell me anything about wanting to be a psychoanalyst. You always said you wanted to be a pediatrician. And he was stark raving mad. Like he was mad. What do you mean? Why are you going to talk about things that we haven't talked about before? And I was literally in the car just like crying and becoming really upset because I just remember thinking, but I'm a kid. Can't I just like explore different things I want to be or do? Like why I looking over, and he was so angry and like shouting, and I was just like, I almost couldn't talk because the situation was so ridiculous to me, but it was also hurtful because I was like, I'm exploring a new idea of something I might want to do. I don't even remember ever saying I wanted to be a pediatrician. Maybe I said that when I was like 5. I didn't even remember it at the time. And he was stark raving mad. Do you know what happened? When I get in there to buy the book, I'm $1 short. I'm $1 short. And do you know my father refused to give me the dollar? He refused. He took me all the way back home. Angrily, he refused to give me the dollar to get the book I needed for school. So I got home and I write in my journal that I ran upstairs to tell my sister what happened and that I was really upset. Because I was crying and everything. I was very upset about it. And then my mother hears the commotion. She runs upstairs. She says, Iquo, ma, we don't let our emotions run amok in this house. No consolation, no acknowledgement that my father was unhinged. Just, we do not let our emotions run amok here. Then she offers to take me back to Borders and give me the money for the book. But get this, she tells me that I have to pay her back. She taught us how to survive in the household based on what she knew about how a woman survives in a patriarchal household. You don't let your emotions run amok. You always defer to the patriarch's opinions on things. You don't rock the boat. Now, I didn't think my mother was perfect. She was a good woman. She was an amazing mom. But I have to, at the time when I was younger, I was aware that there were things going on in the household that didn't make any sense and that she was playing into it and that it was at times putting us in harm's way, and she really wasn't doing anything about it. Long story short, my mom ends up getting cancer and she dies. My father remarries and he starts on family number 2. And there was a while I actually convinced myself that my father had like matured or something, and then and then I started to see the cycles and the patterns start up yet again. So long story short, I'm now no contact with my dad, which is an interesting space to sit in. But I understand that I've had to do it so that I can create um room in my life to actually heal, to no longer be subjected to the conditioning that I grew up in, and to also stop normalizing either emotional immaturity or my overcompensation for my father's emotional immaturity. And this also gives me space to reconcile the fact that my mom was part of that too, that she could not stand up to him, and she really could not really make a safe home environment for us with him there. And the whole time she thought she was doing it for our benefit. But that's the beauty of getting older and maturing and healing, because now I can actually create safety for myself. Anyway, just had to share.